After much silence, Barbara Hale speaks up about Raymond Burr. The 18th of April, 1922, was the birthplace of Barbara Hale in DeKalb, Illinois. The daughter of landscape gardener Luther Ezra Hale and Wilma Colvin Hale was Barbara. She began her rise to fame after graduating from Rockford High School in her hometown of Rockford, Illinois, before relocating to Chicago. Barbara had planned to become a commercial artist after enrolling at the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, but destiny had other plans. She entered the fashion modeling industry after catching the eye of modeling agencies in Chicago with her stunning good looks and composure. Talent scouts from RKO Pictures, a prominent Hollywood company at the time, took notice of her when she achieved success in modeling. Barbara relocated to Los Angeles and inked a deal with RKO in the early 1940s, thanks to her natural charisma and comfort in front of the camera. Bad Day, starring Gilder's Leaves, was her first film role, released in 1943. Musical comedies, dramas, and westerns were just a few of the genres in which she soon found work. A remarkable cinematic career was developed by Barbara Hale in the 1940s and 1950s. She co-starred with Hollywood heavy hitters like Robert Mitchum in West of the Pecos 1945, James Stewart in The Jackpots 1950, and Rock Hudson in Seminole 1953. She was a multi-talented actress who could convey nuance, charisma, and quiet resilience with her composed personality, expressive eyes, and commanding presence. Her performance in the 1949 suspense thriller, The Window, which was an unexpected success, contributed to her already stellar reputation in Hollywood. Nevertheless, Barbara Hale's most famous role came in 1957, when she played the part of Della Street, who was Raymond Burr's trusted secretary and confidante on the CBS sitcom Perry Mason. Hale made an appearance in over 270 episodes during the show's original run from 1957 to 1966. Her subtle performance as a character who was more than just a sidekick earned her tremendous praise. At a time when television rarely portrayed strong female characters, Della Street was an icon of poise, intelligence, resourcefulness, and professionalism. The Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series, which Hale won in 1959, is a tribute to her tremendous impact on the show's long-lasting popularity. Barbara Hale continued to be adored by viewers even after the series concluded. From 1985 to 1995, she reprised the character of Della Street in more than 30 Perry Mason TV movies, co-starring with Raymond Burr once more until his passing. One of the most beloved dynamic in television history was their on-screen connection, which was defined by subtle chemistry, profound mutual regard, and unfaltering loyalty. Compared to her predecessors who had lengthy careers across several mediums, Barbara Hale's venture into radio was very small and short, although she would go on to attain lasting acclaim on film and television. Regardless, her limited radio appearances demonstrated her range and skill as a performer, even in an arena where her voice and imagination were the only tools at her disposal. In 1947, she made her radio debut on an episode of Voice of the Army, a public relations program produced by the United States Army. The purpose of this series was to encourage soldiers, tell their tales, and keep the patriotic spirit alive in the years following WW5. Despite the scarcity of information about the episode in which Hale appeared, her casting indicates that the producers saw her as a promising young actress whose charisma and voice could spread the show's uplifting messages to audiences nationwide. One of the most esteemed Golden Age radio shows, Lux Radio Theater, cast her in a 1950 episode. Known for turning famous films and theater plays into hour-long radio dramas, Lux Radio Theater ran from the 1930s to the mid-1950s. It's not uncommon for famous Hollywood actors or actresses from the first film to return for sequels or new takes on favorite characters. Lux Radio Theater's decision to feature Hale was a huge vote of confidence in her acting abilities and her ascent to stardom in Hollywood. It was also proof that she could adjust to the peculiarities of radio acting, which required her to depict a wide range of emotions with her voice alone, apart from her body language and facial expressions. She was also featured in an episode of the patriotic radio show Proudly We Hail, which aired throughout the country and praised the United States of America and its values through the dramatic presentation of stories of courage, sacrifice, and virtue. Participation by Hale, an appealing, all-American actress who could convincingly represent such ideals, added to the show's focus on national unity and bravery, which was similar to Voice of the Army, Devanta listenership of radio stations. Notably, Hale contributed her voice to 5 episodes of the long-running radio drama series Family Theater, which ran from 1950 to 1954. The show centered around stories that promoted moral ideals, family unity, and faith-based themes. The interesting thing about Family Theater was that it often had famous actors and actresses from Hollywood who would volunteer to be in the dramatized stories that were in harmony with the show's larger spiritual themes and Catholic outlook. Considering Hale's repeated appearances on the show, it's safe to say she was an integral part of the tale and believed in the program's goals. Her later, more visually expressive performances on television were characterized by her capacity to convey profound emotion and moral conviction via her voice, which she displayed in these performances as well. The radio credits Barbara Hale had during her early career reflect a time when she was establishing herself as an actress who could thrive in a variety of entertainment formats, although they pale in comparison to her film and television credits. She rounded out her background in the performing arts with her brief but significant contributions to radio, at a time when numerous performers were moving between the stages, radio, and cinema. These early performances showcase her commitment to her craft and her willingness to embrace different roles in support of American entertainment and cultural values of the time. Even though she would eventually depart from radio for film and, eventually, iconic television work, Barbara Hale's life underwent a transformative shift in 1945, both professionally and personally, while filming the Western picture West of the Pecos. Bill Williams, whose real name is Herman August Wilhelm Catt, was an actor she met on set. Williams, who was a ruggedly attractive rising star at the time, had a history that included athletics, show business, and an honorable stint in the military during WWI. Before making the leap into the acting world, evidently, Hale was captivated by his modest charisma, which matched his great presence and charisma on screen. While filming, the two actors hit it off and found a strong relationship that went beyond just their parts together. A year after their online romance began to take root, Barbara Hale and Bill Williams tied the knot on June 26, 1946. Their very committed and long-lasting marriage began on their wedding day and continued for over half a century. Their partnership was based on love, respect, and support for each other's professional pursuits, and it endured the hardships of 2 busy careers in Hollywood, particularly in the middle of the 20th century, when the entertainment industry was infamously demanding. Theirs stood out from the crowd of celebrity weddings of the era because it lasted a long time and remained stable. Bill and Barbara were able to create a loving family unit, William Catt was one of 3 children born to this couple. The other 2 were daughters, Jody and Juanita. William would go on to have a successful acting career of his own, much like his parents, famous for his leading role in The Greatest American Hero and for playing the adult Paul Drake Jeter. In the later Perry Mason TV movies, William Catt inherited his mother's and father's acting chops. Barbara frequently voiced her delight at being able to share the screen with her son and her profound pride in his achievements. Barbara Hale managed a difficult acting career while also becoming a mother. This became more difficult as her portrayal as Perry Mason's legendary Della Street brought her more fame. Still, her family came first, and she did her best to keep her house a welcoming and safe place for them. She was known for her humor, generosity, and steadfast commitment to her children's upbringing, according to her children. The family managed to maintain their normalcy and privacy, despite the fact that their lives were in the public eye. It proved that Hale and Williams were determined to protect their kids from the influence of Hollywood. Many saw their marriage, which continued until Bill Williams' death in 1992, as an unusual Hollywood love story based on common ground, strong friendship, and true love. In the years that followed, Barbara Hale stayed committed to her husband's memory, frequently thinking back on their time together with fondness, remembering the legacy they left behind in the entertainment industry and via their children. Actor Raymond Burr was Barbara Hale's legendary co-star on the long-running courtroom drama Perry Mason, but the actress kept her friendship and professional relationship with Burr very private for decades. Hale always opted for secrecy, delivering only kind compliments when questioned about Burr in interviews. Even though fans frequently wondered about the real nature of their relationship, driven by their indisputable on-screen chemistry and long-lasting off-screen friendship. Their connection was complicated, poignant, and at times enigmatic. Nonetheless, in her last years, she started to be more open and honest, providing rare glimpses into their lives and occupations. Hale finally opened up about her feelings for Raymond Burr in an interview she gave at the end of her life, showing how much she admired, loved, and respected him. She smiled softly and admitted that Raymond was more to her than a co-worker. Not only was he a friend and protector, but he was also one of the most generous people I've ever met. In addition to his enormous charisma, he was also extraordinarily kind and giving. As she recounted the early days of Perry Mason, when she and Burr were dealing with the stresses of making what would become a renowned series on television, her voice quivered. According to Hale, even though he was the one who bore the brunt of the attention, he made sure I was comforted and appreciated at his side at all times. To me, that was really crucial. The fact that Burr kept much of his private life out of the spotlight was another topic Hale discussed extensively. She had a profound understanding and admiration for it. Behind his imposing screen presence, he occasionally hinted at loneliness, which she commented on. She whispered softly that Raymond had chosen not to talk about some aspects of his life. His kindness and generosity toward his loved ones were unaffected by that, though. Off camera, she reminisced about times of deep understanding, laughing, and lengthy chats. Private moments that she cherished and never intended to share with the media. Hale defended Burr without hesitation when questioned about the long-running rumors and unfounded charges that surrounded his private life and were published in tabloids. She stated emphatically that while speculation is fun, Raymond was an extremely private man who should have been allowed his space. All I knew about him was that he was a respectable man who showed up to work each day, who put in countless hours and treated the entire crew and cast with dignity and respect. Hale's heartfelt confession also alluded to the deep sorrow she experienced upon Burr's death in 1993. She spoke forward and said that losing him was like losing a piece of herself. I knew I'd never have another professional relationship quite like ours after all the years we'd spent together. Between us, there was this lovely rhythm that didn't even need words. Barbara Hale broke her quiet after a long silence, paying tribute to a friend and shedding light on the complex humanity of an enigmatic man. Her remarks painted a picture of unshakable friendship, unwavering commitment, and quiet love, putting an end to years of conjecture. She added with a nostalgic grin that he was her Perry. I will forever be known as his Della. Barbara Hale, who lived in Sherman Oaks, California, for many years, peacefully died away on January 26, 2017, at the astounding age of 94. Being one of the few surviving stars from the heyday of vintage TV, her passing signified the conclusion of a period. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, problems were stated as the official cause of death. COPD is a progressive lung ailment that is commonly caused by years of smoking or exposure to environmental contaminants. This crippling respiratory ailment affected Hale's last years, making it harder to breathe and limiting her physical activities. Despite the fact that she had lived a long and productive life, she overcame these obstacles by keeping her mind active and by surrounding herself with supportive loved ones in her last days. Not only did her death hit close to home for her admirers and family, but it also had profound cultural implications for the annals of television. Barbara Hale was the last original cast member of the acclaimed legal drama Perry Mason to survive till the day of her passing. The iconic performance by Hale as Della Street, the devoted and astute legal assistant to Raymond Burr's titular defense attorney, helped cement the series' place in American popular culture during its run from 1957 to 1966. Hale helped change the way women were portrayed on television in professional roles for 9 seasons and 271 episodes with her poise, intelligence, and quiet strength. Symbolically, her death marked the end of an era in television history, and fans of Perry Mason all over the globe lamented the loss of a beloved actress. Actors, businesspeople, and the innumerable fans who had grown up with her performances all sent tributes. Her impact is still felt today. Her children, especially her son William Catt, who is famous for his own successful acting career and her vast amount of work. Barbara Hale's death was a somber reminder of the lasting influence of the Perry Mason series and the unforgettable impression she made on the entertainment world during her 7-decade career. She was the last surviving member of the original cast,